Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. Making sense out of the senseless only on shrmedia.com. Conservative media done right. This is the show where the spin dies screaming and the facts light the fuse. Where we don't tiptoe around the truth and we sure as hell don't pretend that the left's insanity is just political difference. No, it's a coordinated deception, and tonight we rip the mask clean off. I'm your host, and tonight we're diving headfirst into a tidal wave of cover-ups, collusion, and chaos, from Hillary Clinton's hidden health crisis to the media's desperate scramble to bury Obamagate. From violent leftist agitators finally facing justice to socialist infection threatening to swallow the Democrat Party whole. We'll break down Tulsi Gabbard's bombshell declassification that reveal how deep the Obama administration went to sabotage Trump, including Brennan's deliberate suppression of intel that Russia held information on Hillary Clinton. Will expose how the media, instead of reporting the fact, is in overdrive trying to erase the scandal from history. And that's just the beginning. A violent rioter who targeted Border Patrol agents has been arrested and his case throws a spotlight on the Democrats' war against federal law enforcement. Meanwhile, New York Democrats are freaking out as self-proclaimed Marxists seizes the mayoral nomination, dragging the party even further into the abyss. How you doing, BZ? Thank you for being here, my brother. Hunter Biden is flailing, confirms that Joe was drugged on Ambien before his disastrous debate, all while accusing the media and his father's allies of betrayal. And Congressman Jason Crow, he's out here calling Gabbard's declassification as conspiracy theory. You know what that means when Democrats start crying conspiracy theory? You're right on target. Because that's all they've got. It's lies stacked on top of lies protected by gatekeepers who no longer even pretend to care about truth. But you and I, we're not playing along. We're here to expose, to mock, to burn the narrative, and build something real in its place. This is the Reaver of Common Sense, where truth lives, the spin dies screaming, and common sense makes a thunderous return. Before we go any further, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and share this stream like your freedom depends on it, because it just might. Every click helps us punch through big tech censorship, drowns out the media noise, and make sure common sense has a fighting chance. This is the Reaver of Common Sense, where truth lives and the nonsense dies screaming. Don't forget, everybody, super chats are welcome and open in the chat for YouTube. If you want to join the conversation, jump into the live chat on YouTube. Just search for SHR Media and join the conversation. How is everybody doing? Today is Friday, July 25th, is it? Damn, this month's just blowing by. Oh, I've had a good day, a very good day. I found out some great news personally. It's good and it's bad in itself, but I was approved for my disability finally. It's been a battle, but with all the health issues I've been having, I finally got approved. And the main thing that I'm just worried about is the healthcare. That's the main thing that I was worried about. But it's done. It's good to go. So, what do you guys want to talk about? You want to start out with the DNI Tulsi Gabbard dropping a political neutron bomb? In a newly declassified intelligence report, Gabbard confirmed that Russia intelligence had gathered highly damaging material on Hillary Clinton during her 2016 presidential campaign, specifically concerning her health. According to documents, Clinton was suffering from intensified psycho-emotional problems. Intensified psycho-emotional problems. Was on a cocktail of heavy tranquilizers, multiple chronic medical conditions, including heart disease, type 2 diabetes, deep vein thrombosis, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and persistent fatigue. See, I hate that COPD label because COPD really isn't a disease. It's a classification of diseases. It's like an over blanket. If you have bronchitis, a chronic bronchitis, if you have lung cancer, if you have asthma, those are all COPD diseases. So saying she had COPD, it's an overclassification that doesn't exactly tell what it was. Yes, we're at 592 subs. 8 more to hit 600. Come on, people. You can get it up to 600 for us. I'd greatly appreciate it. Sackhead, Sean, BZ, and Big Earl would love to hear us hit 600. But here's the kicker. Russia had this intel. They documented it, but they deliberately chose not to leak it. Wait a minute. If they wanted Donald Trump to win, and they were in the bag and trying to interfere in our election, why didn't they release this information? That would have been even more damaging for Hillary Clinton than her own campaign was already doing. Why would a geopolitical adversary withhold information that could cripple the Democratic nominee? I mean, we've been told time and time again that Russia interfered in our election. According to U.S. analysts quoted in the file, the Russian government determined that Hillary Clinton's campaign was already imploding on its own and didn't require additional sabotage. In other words, they believe she was too frail, too unstable, and too compromised to win. But while Moscow kept this quiet, the Obama administration didn't just know about Clinton's condition. They were reportedly extraordinarily alarmed by it. I was quote unquote extraordinary alarmed by it. High-level officials discussed contingency plans. Medical briefings were shared with senior staff, and yet none of it reached the American public. Think about that. The entire country was sold a candidate who couldn't campaign for more than an hour without collapsing. Remember the fainting spells, the coughing fits, the van incident in New York? The spin from Clinton operatives that at the time was that she was battling allergies and maybe dehydrated. The truth, she was on tranquilizers. She had chronic, serious illness, and the most powerful government in the world knew it. The Obama administration knew it and covered it up. Does that sound familiar, people? Does that sound familiar? And this is the party that says, you can trust us. We tell the truth. They have been lying to us for decades. And what's worse is, listen, I know the Republican Party lies. I know the politicians lie. I'm not trying to say one side's worse, or at least I admit it and I know it. And I try to comb through the lies and the truth and find reality. I get told that I'm in a cult. But liberals are the ones that are blindly following, blindly listening to what they're told without questioning. Democrats love to point the finger and accuse you of exactly what they're doing. This isn't just a health story. It's a national security story. Think about it. Biden, Hillary, they covered this stuff up. Because when a presidential candidate's ability to lead is hidden behind classified documents and foreign powers have more insight into their condition than American voters, democracy becomes a fucking puppet show. Tulsi Gabbard didn't just release files. She released a reckoning. We'll explore the timeline I am amazed and almost speechless at just how bad the Democrats are getting. And they're not getting better, people. They're not trying to change things and go in the right direction. They're doubling down on their bullshit and getting worse. Because what we're looking at isn't a simple lapse of transparency. It's the full weaponization of media silence, intelligence, compartmentalization, and political manipulation to push a pre-selected figurehead into the White House. Hillary thought she had it in the bag. Hillary thought she had it won. She thought it was a gimme. How could Donald Trump beat her? She was the golden goose of the Democrat Party. And we can go over all the mistakes they made in that campaign. My show would be running for hours. And it nearly worked, though. It nearly did. We need to have more transparency in these candidates. And yes, Donald Trump, President Trump, has released medical information. He has been more transparent than Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, Biden. I have no problem with a candidate that is older. I guess you could say in their twilight years. Age is a number. I don't say we need to have a number at the top that limits who can run, because I know a lot of people, we need to limit. No, you have people that are in their 70s and 80s that are fully capable, their full faculties. You have people that are in their 50s and 40s, hell, that are fucking morons. Age isn't the issue. It's the health issues that are going on. And they need to be more open. Because when you're running for office, your health is a issue. Your medical issues are a national security issue. And the people need to know about it. They need to be more transparent with candidates' health, especially in the twilight years. As I said, I'm not against a candidate that's in their 70s running. I am not against it. But their health should be released. Their medical records should be released. This is beyond a HIPAA issue. HIPAA's a fucking joke anyway. We need to be more careful on our candidates, whether Republican, Democrat, fucking Martian, I don't give a shit. I wonder if my assistant is listening. Exactly, Phantom. They need to know what they're doing. My PA, could you grab me a coffee? I'd appreciate it. Oh, for those that know, I wasn't here Monday, and last Friday I wasn't here. I did a show on Saturday. I was a guest on BZ's show last night. The weather we've had in Florida, which is normal, and the medical conditions I have, and I've talked about it plenty of times on the show, sometimes prevent me from doing the show. When you're dealing with rheumatoid arthritis, and especially no treatment, it gets pretty painful and unable to do simple things. Sometimes even trying to just grab a bottle of Gatorade water is painful. So that's why I wasn't here Monday. The body was not good. So I do apologize for not being here. I try to be here as much as I can, but I got to look at my health first and foremost. And it's not a complaint. I do this show for fun. I do it for the love of it. I make $0. I don't get paid for this. Money comes out of my pocket for the show, but I don't get paid for this at all. I receive no money. So I'm trying to think. Do we hit break a little bit early? or start the news segment and only get like a minute or two into it. And actually, let's go back to it and let's talk about Hillary, because I don't know if people remember her collapsing. She had that episode that almost looks like her brain shut off while she was giving a speech and had to be led away and almost thrown into a van. I would have bet that she had a stroke, but if she's on heavy tranquilizer and having issues medically, that would explain a lot of things. I don't wish harm on any of these people. It's some of these people would put power above everything else, and that's scary as hell. They're not doing it for the love of country. Don't let people. I mean, some are. I'm not going to say all of them aren't. But after so long of being in there, it's no longer about that. It's about the power. Because once you get a taste of that power, you don't want to let it go. And that's both sides of the fence, Republican and Democrat. People think just because I talk mostly about Democrats that I don't have an issue or I blindly follow the Republicans. Fuck that. There's a lot of Republicans I think are pieces of shit and should be thrown out of office ASAP. You got too many that are, they're almost childish in their expectations and mandates. And Sackhead Sean said it the best last night. They're saying shit to fundraise. You got Massey. He's saying that shit because he could fundraise off of it. Listen, I want a balanced budget, all that. So don't come at me about that bullshit. But I'm also realistic in understanding that we can't just throw shit together and expect massive changes right off the bat. It's not going to happen. It needs to be a slow, steady change. And we have first round of Doge cuts have gone through. And that's what, $9 billion, people? When was the last time you saw the government recall $9 billion to save the American taxpayer money? And that's just package one. And they said that was a test run. They wanted to make sure they can get it through. And we need to get these idiots. I know Morawski and Collins are going to vote against this shit. I understand that. They need to be thrown the hell out of the Republican Party. But tell you what, it's that time. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll get on with the next section.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ever dream of escaping the daily grind? At Escapist Travel and Tours, we make those dreams your reality. From breathtaking adventures to cultural immersions, we offer escapes tailored just for you. Let us take you to places where every moment feels like a new chapter in your life's adventure. Visit www.escapist.travel or call us today at 1-855-885-81776. Your escape awaits.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high-quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this. You rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring tees. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Come listen to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show. Live on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights. at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Rumble channel, SHR Media YouTube channel, X, Twitch, Spreaker, and wherever great conservative podcasts are found. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, guides you through the maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Raised as a free-range child with dirt, stains, mud, and freedom, BZ broadcasts from North Idaho, comfortably surrounded by actual normal people. Jump into our plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room on rumble.com. Click on live chat to join. Now, with 37% more umbrage and 19% more bulbosity than previous shows, featuring delicious Liberty additives for the best in late-night conservatarian talk radio. BZ reminds you that with great beard comes great responsibility. No chinchillas were harmed, embarrassed, fat-shamed, or the focus of any sarcasm whatsoever in the making of this ad.
What is the Edge of Liberty? News, politics, commentary, sarcasm, alcohol, and high blood pressure. It's as American as a good revolution. So tune in every Monday and Friday at 12 Pacific, 3 p.m. on the East Coast on the SHR Media Network and KLRN Radio. For details, visit www.shrmedia.com.
Media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Jonah, here to make sense out of the senseless right here on SHR Media, conservative media done right. Before we go any further, hit that like button, smash the subscribe, and share this stream like your freedom depends on it, because it just might. Every click helps us punch through big tech censorship, drowns out the media noise, and makes sure common sense has a fighting chance. This is the Reaver of Common Sense, where truth lives and the nonsense dies screaming. I don't know what it is. My headphones, earplugs, whatever you want to call them, I won't touch the line. It's plugged in, and all of a sudden, like one earphone will stop working. I'll have to unplug it and plug it back in, and then it starts working again. Oh, getting old. So, the media cover-up has begun, and there's a lot of media cover-up going on, and Obamagate must be buried. The corporate media is in full panic, and I mean full meltdown. Sirens blaring, damage control activated, blinders strapped on tight. Why? Because the walls are closing in, not just on Biden, not just on Hillary, but on their golden boy himself, Barack Obama. Listen, I know he's not going to face any criminal punishment for what he's done. But historically, he's going to go down as a very, very, very corrupt president. Worse than what Nixon. This will go down worse than Watergate. And that's fine by me. And I'd like to see criminal, but there's going to be a lot of talks whether he's immune or not as president. And my question is, the Supreme Court yesterday ruled presidents have immunity for presidential acts. Not for treason, not for attempted coups. So I don't know. I would question whether he has immunity over this. He tried to overthrow an election with this scandal. So I'm kind of on the split. I don't see anything happening. Even President Trump came out and said he believes that Obama has immunity for his actions. Of course, the drive-by media is, oh, he's got immunity. They can't do nothing to him. Well, the Supreme Court then. Supreme Court said for presidential acts. How do you define presidential acts? That's the question. The man they said was scandal-free, the man who could do no wrong, the man whose 8 years in office were supposedly above reproach. That fantasy is shattering and has been shattered for a long time now. The declassified documents are out. The evidence is on the table, and it's damning. We know Brennan suppressed Russian intel that Hillary Clinton was compromised. We know the intelligence agency pushed the Russian hoax, Trump-Russia hoax, while ignoring real threats. We know, as we just discussed, Clinton's health issues were an open secret behind closed doors, and we know the Obama administration orchestrated it all, from bearing facts to weaponizing lies. We know that Obama had Trump Towers under surveillance and wiretapped. It's been proven. That's not just that, oops. That's not political as usual. That's election interference, people. Deep state corruption, media collusion rolled into one. And now I'm starting to wonder if this is why they go after Donald Trump so bad, because they're trying to discredit him. So when this information came to light, they could blow it off. But it's not working. But how's the media responding? Exactly how you would expect. Discredit the documents, ignore the reports, smear the messenger. They're not investigating. They're not asking questions. They're not holding anyone accountable. No, they're scrubbing the entire crime scene. They aren't reporters anymore. They're cleaners, spokespeople, narrative enforcers for a regime that has crumbled. The so-called journalists at CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, they know what these documents reveal. They know what it means if the story gets traction. So they're doing everything they can to bury it. They have gone into full-on damage control mode. The same people who spent 3 years breathlessly reporting every baseless rumor about Trump, Russia, are now pretending this isn't news. They've created stories about Trump, reported on fake stories. And now all of a sudden, a real story comes and they become the three blind mice. You wonder why people do not have faith in the media anymore, people. Because of shit like this. And we're tired of it. I wonder why podcasts like Edge of Liberty, BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, KLRN's stuff. There's a host of others. They wonder why they're taking off. Because we actually talk about what's going on. We don't cover it up. We don't blow it off. And they don't understand it. Because you got a bunch of people that went to college that were told how to do things. There's one thing I learned as deputy chief. You can come up with some great ideas on paper. They sound great. They sound like they'll work. Everybody can agree. But when you put it into practice, put it into real life, it doesn't work. It's not a good idea. And so many people will keep going with their idea and pushing it, even though it's not working. I learned a long time ago. If it's not working, let's change it. Let's modify it. Let's do what needs to be done for the idea to work. And if it can't work, time to move on to go on to the next thing. There's nothing worse than beating a dead dog. And that's what the media is doing. And then trying to play victim, just like the Democrat Party. They're doing the same shit over and over again. And then playing the victim that, I don't know why we're so low. It must be the people. It's their fault. It's this fault. No. If the CEOs of these news agencies want to turn things around, if they honestly wanted to turn things around, maybe they need to hire some new people to tell them the truth. of what's going on. Maybe they need to get out of the bubble they're in and look outside. It is doing the same thing over and over again, just insanity, people. And that's what they keep doing. Unverified is what they're calling it. Right-wing talking points, old information, disinformation. That's the script. That's always the script. And what's the big word they use now? They've been using? Conspiracy theory. You know, that used to shut people up decades ago. It don't work anymore. It's sort of like calling people racist, sexist, homophobic, and all the other isms, and it doesn't work anymore. You overplayed your hand on it. You devalued those words. You say extreme right wing. Well, I say extreme right because they've been right just about on everything lately. And meanwhile, we got the receipts. We got names, dates, memos, briefings. We've got direct evidence of political manipulation at the highest levels. And the press is acting like it's a big nothing burger. Because if this scandal lands where it should, it just doesn't sink Biden. It doesn't just expose Hillary. It blows up the entire foundation of Obama's so-called legacy, and with it, the credibility of every media outlet that built him up as the second coming. And do you know who also it I don't want to say destroys because it'll still be around no matter what, but could do huge damage? The Democrat Party. They're at what, 17, 19% approval rating? Okay. It would be hard for them to recover from that. And they can't afford that. They spent the last 15 years polishing his image, protecting his narrative, making sure the public never saw the cracks. They've got too much invested. So now, faced with the biggest scandal of the century, they're circling the wagons, not to protect democracy, not just to protect Obama. They're trying to protect themselves at this point, too. I got blings. Thank you for following. I didn't catch your name. I'm sorry about it. It went off my screen so fast I didn't catch it. But I want to thank you for following. I appreciate it. But the media is out to protect it, try to protect itself, but they're making themselves look guiltier. They're making themselves look worse. And they're so far in the hole with blinders on that they can't see what's going on. And that's the sad part. You can almost hear the desperation in their coverage, or lack, therefore. No breaking headlines, no primetime panels, no in-depth investigation, just a few dismissive blurbs and a whole lot of nothing to see here. Let me see if I can find that. Man, that'll probably get me strike on copyright. Yeah, who cares? Let's see if I can find it. This is exactly the media right now. I know it's a little goofy. Right here. Nothing to see here. Nothing going on. Nothing to see. Just go on your daily life. Nothing to see here. As everything is blowing the hell up behind them. And they don't care. They're pissing on your leg and telling you it's raining. And when someone like Tulsi Gabbard, now director of national intelligence, actually does her job and refers this mess to the DOJ, She's branded a traitor, not the person who tried to commit a coup. Whistleblower is being called a traitor, a puppet, a stooge, the same woman they once called brave and independent. Now suddenly the villain, because she won't play along. That's not journalism. That's cult behavior. The same people who flooded the airwaves with lies from Trump are now dead silent about the truth involving Obama. And let me tell you, silence is an answer. Their refusal to cover this isn't just cowardice, it's complicity. They're scared, not of being wrong, but being exposed. Because if the public wakes up and realizes that the media helped bury foreign information on Hillary, that they covered for a potential unfit candidate, that they participated in a smear campaign against Trump built on lies, then the trust they work so hard to manipulate evaporates. And they know it. That's why they're pretending the scandal doesn't exist. But we're not going to let that happen, are we, people? We're not going to shut up. We're not going to back down. And we sure as hell not going to let the media rewrite history again. And I see it on TikTok. Because the only thing liberals can do on these posts that I put up, they don't combat the facts. They don't come at with other facts. They attack. They take cheap shots. They try insulting me like it bothered me because somebody behind a keyboard's typing away. It doesn't bother me, and it shows just how bad you know your side's wrong. When you can't combat the facts and come at with facts, and you only have insults, shows you don't have nothing. Shows that I'm right. Go on TikTok, people. Go on YouTube. Go on a conservative site and look at the comments. You'll see insults and attacks. That's it. And I said, we're not going to shut up, and it won't shut me up. I'm not going to back down, and we are not going to back down. And we're not going to let the media rewrite history again. Obamagate is real. The documents are real. The cover-up is real. And every network, every anchor, every edit pretending otherwise, they're not just journalists ignoring a story. They're accessories after the fact. They helped build this lie. Now they're trying to bury the truth. But it's too late. The people are waking up and the narrative is falling apart, and no amount of spin or censorship or distraction is going to stop what's coming. Just remember, people were just getting started. We got one more segment, more truth, more hypocrisy exposed, and a whole lot more fire coming after this break. Don't go anywhere. This is the Reaver of Common Sense, and we're not done yet.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ever dream of escaping the daily grind? At Escapist Travel and Tours, we make those dreams your reality. From breathtaking adventures to cultural immersions, we offer escapes tailored just for you. Let us take you to places where every moment feels like a new chapter in your life's adventure. Visit www.escapist.travel or call us today at 1-855-885-81776. Your escape awaits.
Attention, all patriotic women of faith. Yep, I'm talking to you, sis. Are you looking for high-quality, super soft apparel that reflects your love for country and your devotion to God? Look no further than Carry Girl Gear. Picture this. You rocking a tee so soft it's like being hugged by a cloud, all while showing off your love for God and country. Sounds dreamy, right? Well, welcome to reality, babes, because that's what we're all about here at Carry Girl Gear. We specialize in super soft tees, tanks, and more, designed specifically for the strong, patriotic woman who proudly wants to carry their message of faith and freedom. When you shop with us, you're not just getting a t-shirt. You're joining a community of like-minded women who are proud to wear their beliefs straight on their tees. So whether you're sipping sweet tea on the porch or leading the charge for faith and freedom, do it in a Carry Girl tee. Because life's too short for stiff, boring teas. CarryGirl.com, where faith and freedom meets fashion.
Come listen to BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show. Live on select and exclusive Tuesday and Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, and 8 p.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Rumble channel, SHR Media YouTube channel, X, Twitch, Spreaker, and wherever great conservative podcasts are found. BZ, your conservative Sherpa, guides you through the maelstrom of Democrat, leftist, and globalist lies, chaos, deceit, and betrayal. Raised as a free-range child with dirt, stains, mud, and freedom, BZ broadcasts from North Idaho, comfortably surrounded by actual normal people. Jump into our plush, sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent chat room on rumble.com. Click on live chat to join. Now, with 37% more umbrage and 19% more bulbosity than previous shows, featuring delicious Liberty additives for the best in late-night conservatarian talk radio. BZ reminds you that with great beard comes great responsibility. No chinchillas were harmed, embarrassed, fat-shamed, or the focus of any sarcasm whatsoever in the making of this ad.
What is the Edge of Liberty? News, politics, commentary, sarcasm, alcohol, and high blood pressure. It's as American as a good revolution. So tune in every Monday and Friday at 12 Pacific, 3 p.m. on the East Coast on the SHR Media Network and KLRN Radio. For details, visit www.shrmedia.com.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. Making sense out of the senseless. Right here on SHR Media, conservative media done right. This is the last segment, people. And before we go any further, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and share this stream like your freedom depends on it. Because it just might. This is the Reaver of Common Sense, where truth lives and the nonsense dies screaming. Oh, what are we up to? A feel-good story. You remember the anti-ICE riots in Los Angeles? The ones that the media pretended were just angry kids with signs. I wonder if I still have that video. Let me look it up. And I should have this stuff all ready to go. I'm bad like that. And it's going to be a bugger. No. Damn it. I unplugged it. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Let's see. I don't seem to. Ooh, I didn't check there. I might have it there. Sorry about this, people. I want to get this video up to show you who I'm talking about. And I just remember where I would have it easily accessible from. If I could just find it. I wish X would give a better way that you can organize your media. I also hate trying to find old posts. That's a bitch. Come on. Here it is. I found it. I believe it is this gentleman that we're going to be talking about. This could have been really bad. This could have killed an officer, killed bystander. That would have went through the windshield or side window. They could have killed the officer, hit him in the head. Because it's not just impact throwing the rock, plus the vehicle speed, all that equals. It's not good. And Democrats defended and made excuses. I think it's this guy with the light. So, all right, we're back to normal. And then what we're talking about is the ones where federal property was torched, ICE officers were attacked, and the streets turned into a war zone. That LA riot. Well, one of the men behind that violence, Appolito Rene, I'm butchering names, and I always have, and I always will. He just got taken down. He is an alleged violent rioter, was captured on video, lobbing large rocks at moving Border Patrol vehicles in broad daylight. This wasn't some random act of protest. This was an ambush caught on tape. A federal operations, and not just any rocks. These were chunks of concrete, heavy enough to smash through glass, heavy enough to kill. Now, what's funny is these people know they're being videotaped and they're doing this shit. And they think, oh, I'll put a helmet on. I'll put a bike helmet on. They'll never know who I am. Well, you have other video cameras that are up around cities, you idiot, that they can start mapping out your movement and find you when you don't have that helmet on to get your face. Now you're going to see these people not wanting it on video. They were, I get to have my big viral moment. Your big viral moment was when they put you in handcuffs. And the video shows him wearing a motorcycle helmet, like a wannabe militant, casually walking along the side of the street in Paramount, California. As each Border Patrol vehicle drives by, he picks up rocks and hurls them, aiming directly at the windshield, one after another. Goal wasn't to make a statement. The goal was to injure or kill a federal officer. And unfortunately, he succeeded in part. One officer was injured in the attack. But here's where the story turns. This week, he surrendered to federal authorities at a port of entry on the U.S.-Mexican border in San Diego. Let that sink in. The man who tried to seriously injure or possibly kill a federal officer was found at the border trying to re-enter the country. He was taken into custody by one of the very border agents whose vehicle had been damaged in the attack. Think about that. The officer who could have been killed, standing there as Renee, however, is handcuffed. That's what justice looks like. Justice attorney, U.S. attorney, didn't pull punches when announcing the arrest. He called Renee a dangerous felon, and he was right. This isn't a case of a protest gone wrong. This is an act of targeted violence against law enforcement. A federal officer could have died. And if those rocks had hit at a slightly different angle, they might have. Renee now faces a federal felony charge for assault on a federal officer, and he'll make that first court appearance sometime this week. He made it. And if the justice system has even a shred of integrity left, this man won't see the outside of a prison cell for a very, very long time. U.S. Attorney Bill said it's plain and simple. To anyone who think they can attack federal officers and hide behind a mask or helmet, Renee's arrest today proves we can find and charge anyone who violates federal law. And then he drove the point home with 4 words every rioter and agitator ought to hear to heart. Don't touch our officers. That's not just a warning, that's a declaration. FBI Director Kash Patel also weighed in, saying the Bureau will never tolerate violence against those who serve and protect this country. And FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino didn't mince words either. He posted on X, quote, "You may remember Renee, a subject who allegedly threw rocks at federal officers during an immigration operation in California June 7th. We got him." Simple, cold, factual. We got him. He added, those who attack American police officers can run, but they can't hide. And Bongino's right. They shouldn't be able to, because for far too long, violent activists like Renee have operated under the assumption that the law doesn't apply to them, that they can assault officers, torch buildings, and melt into the crowd with 0 consequences. But not this time. And this arrest didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened in the context of a broader wave of unrest in Los Angeles. For days, the street were overtaken by violent protests targeting ICE operations. This wasn't about justice. This was about raw, coordinated political violence. The kind that masquerades as activism, but functions like domestic terrorism. It got so bad that President Trump ordered the deployment of 700 Marines and 4,000 federalized National Guard troops to restore order in the city. And the left lost its mind. California Governor Gavin Newsom immediately sued the Trump administration. Why? Because he didn't want his National Guard troops being used to protect federal officers from violent criminals. He claimed the deployment violated the POSI Act, which bars the military from conducting civilian law enforcement. Let's be real. He wasn't worried about the law. He was worried about optics, because in his world, it's perfectly fine to let your city burn as long as the federal government takes the blame. At first, Newsom got his way. A federal judge ruled that Trump's move exceeded his authority. The media cheered. Democrats applauded. But then the appeals court stepped in and tossed the ruling, putting control of the troops right back into federal hands. And now next month, the federal courts will hear arguments against on whether the use of National Guard troops during the violent riots violated the POSI Act. So let me ask you this. Who do you think violated the law more? The president who used the military to restore order after officers were attacked, or the governor who tried to block that response while letting violent mobs run wild? And just think, that's the man who's going to be running for president as a Democrat, or he's going to try to get the nomination. A man who is fine with federal officers being attacked by violent rioters, but sending in the troops to protect and calm and stop the riots. That is going too far. This is a man who has allowed this shit to go on in his state for too long. It's not the first time this has happened in California. Under his nose, you just had 2 big busts of illegal immigrants illegally working at a pot farm that was trafficking in kids. And Gavin Newsom was more worried about ICE than the fact this happened under his nose by a friend of his. A man who donated or donates heavily to Gavin Newsom and the Democrat Party. They're more worried about that than the kids being trafficked. That is the Democrat Party, people. And we're getting tired of it. See if I can sneak in one more article real quick. I only got like a minute or 2. Exactly. But BZ Newsom is evil personified. And now you have Hunter. Going to go over this real quick. Once again, running his mouth. And this time, he's confirming what the rest of us already suspected. His father, President Joe Biden, was medicated on Ambien before taking the stage for the disastrous 2024 debate. My question is, why the hell would you take Ambien before going and debating? And that's not rumor anymore. That's not political spin. That's straight from the mouth of the president's son. According to Hunter, Joe Biden, the supposed leader of the free world, was given a prescription-grade sedative meant to knock people out cold, not a mild over-the-counter sleep aid, not melatonin, Ambien, a drug so potent it comes with a warning label about next-day drowsiness, cognitive impairment, and hallucinations. They gave that to a 81-year-old man just hours before he had to go toe-to-toe with the most consequential presidential debate in modern history. And what happened? He looked lost, confused, like a deer in the headlights, and now we know why. Hunter spilled it all in a profanity-laced interview where he defended his father, tore into Obama's inner circle, mocked the entire Democratic establishment for doubting the man he insists is still capable of running the country. He said it flat out. He's 81 years old. He's tired as shit. They gave him Ambien to be able to sleep. He gets up on stage and he looks like he's a deer in the headlight. Why would you take Ambien before doing a debate? That says it all right there, people. That says it all. Again, I didn't get to all my articles. But what a night, from the declassified intel bombshells that implicated Hillary and Obama to the media panic cover-up from violent leftist agitators caught at the border to Democrats melting down, which I didn't get to, over socialists and illegal alien handouts. Tonight exposed the machine from every angle. The Obama deep state built the lie. Hillary ran with it. The media sold it. And now Tulsi Gabbard is peeling back the curtain. They fed America a hoax, discredited patriots, lied about Trump, and propped up compromised candidates while pretending to protect democracy. Meanwhile, radicals throw rocks at federal officers. Democrat leaders hand out taxpayer-funded benefits to illegal aliens while veterans sleep on the street. And the president's own son blames sleeping pill for Biden's collapse. You can't spend this anymore. It's falling apart in real time. The people see it. They're waking up. And they're done being told that truth is a conspiracy while lies win Pulitzers. This movement is powered by people who know better, who think for themselves, who demand accountability. So now we won't play nice. We'll fight smart. We won't whisper. We'll fucking roar. And we're not just making noise. We're making history. So don't forget to hit that like button, smash subscribe, and share the stream like your freedom depends on it, because it just might. Every share helps us punch through big tech algorithms, shuts the media lies, and keeps the signal strong. It's been the Reaver of Common Sense, where the truth lives, the spin dies, and screaming, and the nonsense burns to ashes. But if you want more, BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Edge of Liberty with Sackhead Sean on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then we have Mission Ready Men with Biggie Jackson, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, noon on the East Coast. And of course, Reaver of Common Sense every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good night, Patriots. Stay loud, stay sharp, and stay dangerous.